Hey guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. My name is Sarah, and if you were looking for home-style recipes made ketogenic, then you've come to the right channel. And tonight, we are going to be making keto zucchini bread. So come along with me, and let's get started. Reached September, and this is a harvest time for a lot of people, and you might have a lot of excess zucchini, or maybe your neighbors have left some on your porch. So this recipe will utilize zucchini, and it is readily available, of course, in the grocery store if you don't have neighbors that have a garden, or if you don't have a garden yourself. Let me show you what you're going to need. So to begin, you are going to need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So you are going to need 1 3/4 cups of prepared zucchini. This is how I do mine. Okay, so we are going to take our zucchini and we are going to grate it. I am just using a box grater, and I have a dish with paper towel in it because after we have grated our zucchini squash, I'm going to let it sit on the paper towel for a little while. And that is going to collect water, and then I'm going to be able to wring it dry so that when we put it in to make our bread, it's not going to be so moist, so wet, if you will, that it will not cook properly. So that's what I'm going to do, and I need about 1 3/4 cups or so of grated zucchini. So you can see it's nicely grated. And then as soon as this sits for a little while, I'll be able to wring it out because I have placed the paper towels down for that. You are going to need 1½ cups of almond flour, and I have sifted mine. 3 large eggs, and they are room temperature. 1/3 cup of oil, mine is avocado. So I will be using 1/2 cup of natural white sweetener. This is monk fruit and allulose blend. Use whatever you can find, whatever you like, can afford, or that suits your lifestyle. This is brown erythritol. Once again, use whatever you can find, whatever you like, whatever you tolerate. But you have 1 cup of sweetener in total. 1/2 cup white, 1/2 cup brown. I have a teaspoon of vanilla bean paste and a teaspoon of salt. I'm also going to be using cinnamon, and I'm going to be using pumpkin pie spice. You will need baking soda and also baking powder. The final ingredient will be 1/2 cup of sugar-free chocolate chips. I'm using dark here, but you can use any kind of chocolate chips that you would like. And this is a completely optional step. If you do not like chocolate chips in your zucchini bread, you can of course omit them. You can add nuts or anything else in a keto-friendly fashion that you enjoy. Okay, so you are going to begin mixing with your wet ingredients in a medium-sized bowl. I am going to be using my hand mixer for this. So I'm going to go ahead and put my sweeteners in first. My 1/3 cup of avocado oil, my vanilla bean paste. You could just use vanilla extract if you don't have any kind of vanilla bean paste, but I have it and I'm using it. And also our 3 eggs. As I stated, mine are room temperature. If you would like to make this and you don't have room temperature eggs, you can always put them in a bowl of very warm water for about 10 minutes, and that will bring them to room temperature. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and begin mixing this with my hand mixer. Okay, I'm going to add in my grated zucchini. Once again, this is 1 3/4 cup. So remember, we processed this. Now there are different schools of thought for zucchini. Some people do not drain theirs. I happen to drain mine. You can do whatever you would like, but I would definitely recommend if you have frozen zucchini, say you have received a lot of zucchini or you've grown a lot of zucchini and you decide to grate it and freeze it, I would definitely then make sure that you drain it, because the freezing and thawing process does release a lot of water. I'm just going to give this a quick stir with my mixer just to get our zucchini incorporated. If you did not have a hand mixer, you could do this by hand if you wanted to. Okay, I'm setting aside our wet, and I'm going to add some things to our dry ingredients. Remember, this is 1.5 cups of almond flour. I have sifted mine. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm adding in my 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to add my leaveners now. I like using a combination of both baking soda and baking powder, and I'm going to be using a teaspoon of each. And you do want to try and make sure that your leaveners are as fresh as possible. I'm now going to add in some cinnamon and some pumpkin pie spice. I'm going to be liberal with mine because I like it spicy, and I'm an aggressive seasoner, but you can of course do whatever you would like. I'm going to take a fork and I'm just simply going to incorporate our spices and our leavener into our dry ingredients. Okay, I'm going to add half of this in here, and then I am going to begin mixing it with my hand mixer. I'm going to add the other half. All right, so we have our zucchini bread mixture. So the final thing that I'm going to add in before I pour it into my loaf pan and put it in the oven is my sugar-free chocolate chips. As I stated in the beginning of the video, if you don't want chocolate chips in your zucchini bread, you can omit these. You could also use any flavor of chocolate chip that you would like. Additionally, you could add nuts or something else if you would prefer, or in addition to. And I'm just going to stir that with my spatula and also get the bottom of my bowl just to make sure that I got all of my dry ingredients in the mixing process. Okay, our zucchini batter is ready, and I'm going to go ahead and pour this into my loaf pan. So let's talk for a second about the loaf pan that you might want to use for this recipe. So traditionally, I have used just your regular loaf pan. I think this one is from Walmart, and it's just kind of dark coated. And while you may think that this would be a good solution for zucchini bread, I have found in cooking any kind of bread like that, that sometimes the darkness of the pan can make your loaf turn out very dark. In my test recipe for the zucchini bread, I got quite a bit of darkness because your zucchini bread is going to need to cook for probably about an hour. It cooks for a while. So it's hard to keep it from getting too brown in that period of time. So that's where these guys come in. These are silicone, and I got mine in a 3-pack on Amazon, of course. And I love silicone for all of my other baking needs. I know when I did zucchini cupcakes a couple of years ago, I used cupcake liners or a cupcake pan that was made out of silicone, and they turned out fabulous. So I'm really hoping that by using a silicone loaf pan, I will be able to cook these for the length of time that I need my zucchini bread to cook without it turning too dark. So fingers crossed, we are going to hope that turns out well, and I'll keep you posted. But this was a really good deal on Amazon. I think you got 3 of these for like $7 or $8. It was really inexpensive. And I love how compact silicone is because, you know, we live in 900 square feet. You really got to want it if you're going to live here. So you really have to be worth your weight or you can't stay. So that's my little spiel on the baking utensils. So I have my silicone loaf pan here, and I'm just going to pour my batter into my loaf pan. Find that my recipe makes 1 loaf. Of course, it would depend on the size of your loaf pan. Now, making breads of this kind does take quite a while. It's going to take about an hour at least to cook, but that's what makes it so moist and dense. So I'm going to go ahead and start mine at about 45 minutes, and then I'm just going to keep checking on it the closer we get to the 1 hour time. Once again, that is 350 degrees. And of course, the size and the opacity of your loaf pan is going to change how long you cook it. If you're using a metal pan or a glass pan, then your timing may be different. My temperatures are for a silicone pan. Okay, in we go. Okay, mine was done at 45 minutes. So as I said before, make sure that you start at a lower time and then work up in increments, especially depending on your oven. Mine is brand new, and your baking vessel. So as I said before, I'm using silicone, and some of those things do make a difference. So he's ready to come out. There's one thing I wanted to note here. He's got a nice little canyon here, which upon my further Googling, this is very common with zucchini bread. The test one that I did also had that. And it's because of the moisture erupting through the bread. So homemade bread is beautiful and it's gonna taste delicious. So we're gonna let him sit. So of course you are going to want to let this cool all the way down before you try and unmold it from your loaf pan. So we will see you back here in a little while after he is fully cooled. All right, there it is, the keto zucchini bread. It's got chocolate chips in it, and CJ's gonna taste it for us.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, let's see how it tastes.
I think it's still a little warm.
Am I supposed to eat all 3 of these?
No.
Okay. That's really good. A lot more moist than the prototype. You are using a different pan, a better pan, and yeah, this is really good. I like it. I think it's, of course, it reminds me of zucchini bread, and
You don't say.
because that's what it is.
Yes.
But I mean, I know we have chocolate chips in it versus raisins. Raisins aren't keto, and so yeah, I like it, and I do like it with the silicone pan versus the pan that we had before.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah, nice move to do that.
It was your idea.
I know it was, but I was trying to give you credit.
Oh, thank you so much.
And but it's good, and I look forward to having a cup of coffee. It's pretty late at night, so I'm not gonna have one, but I look forward to having some with a cup of coffee tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks, baby.
Bye.
Bye-bye.